all the must-see places of Athens, which you can see here on the map, or within walking distance of one another. So you don't need any sort of transportation for those other than your feet, but there are a few other things that do require either taking a taxi or public transport, and that's what we're talking about today. Alright, let's start with public transport before we talk about taxis. There are 3 metro lines, the blue one, the green one, and the red one. And then there are 2 tram lines, which you see here in pink. Monastiraki and Syntagma, so the city center, or here. The airport is here, and the ferry/cruise port is here in Piraeus. Now let's zoom in a bit to see what other stops you could need. Omonia is the closest to the National Archaeological Museum. Larisi Station is the train station, in case you want to go to Meteora, for instance. Evangelismos is the nearest to Lycabettus Hill and its amazing viewpoint. Keramikos is for clubbing, and Metasurgia is an area with tons of awesome bars with live Greek music. And then we have the 2 tram lines called T6 and T7. The T6 goes from Syntagma Square to Picrodaphne, so it basically brings you from the city center to the coastline. And the T7 goes along the coast, back and forth between Aia Triada and Asclepio Voulas. If you want to go to one of the beaches of the Athens Riviera, so the coastline of Athens, then I recommend Edem Beach. It takes around 30 minutes coming from Syntagma or 20 minutes coming from Piraeus. And look, it's a very decent beach, and it's a free beach. You don't have to pay anything to enter, and you can choose between either just lying down on your towel or rent a sunbed, which will then give you access to the restroom of that beach bar. If you're coming from Syntagma Square, look, that's the Parliament building in front of us, and if we look right there, that's the start of the T6, so the tram line going to the sea. These trams are very modern, by the way, and have AC, so it's a very comfortable ride. Now, one very big pro tip I got for you is not to go on weekends, especially between June and September, because that's when all the locals go to the beach. And so not only will the trams be packed, but the beach will be super overcrowded. So yeah, if you can, go on a weekday. Alright, this was for metros and trams in Athens. What about buses? Well, there are many, but I absolutely do not recommend them. They get stuck in traffic all the time, plus you're never really sure when the bus will actually show up. So yeah, buses, not sure you should count on them. Alright, let's talk about tickets now. What are all the different formulas and what's the cost? Well, you have 4 options. The single ticket, valid for 90 minutes, that's €1.20. The daily ticket, valid for 24 hours after its first validation, that's €4.10. The 5-day ticket for €8.20. And then the 3-day tourist ticket for €20, which also includes the round trip from and to the airport, which is something the others don't have. Those 4 options cover all public transport of Athens, so metros, trams, and buses, but they do not include trains going from city to city. So to all of you who have been asking me if you can use one of those tickets to go on a train to Meteora, the answer is no, unfortunately. Train tickets are a separate thing. There's one more ticket I haven't mentioned, and that's the airport ticket. Either one way for €9 or round for €16, valid for 30 days. And by the way, going to the ferry port is not overcharged, surprisingly enough. So while going to the airport will cost you €9 one way, going to the port is only €1.20. And mind that the ferry port is not exactly the same as the cruise port. They're near, but still it takes like half an hour on foot to go from one to the other. So if you're coming on a cruise, definitely check out this video once it's ready, because public transport for the cruise port is a bit trickier than for the ferry port. Alright, let's see how you can buy those tickets at these ticket vending machines you will find at every metro station. You'll start by choosing your language at the bottom of the screen, then press buy travel product, and then Athens area. If you want the single ticket, you want to click here on 90 minutes. Then those 3 are the same, but with multiple rides on it. This one has 2 rides, that one 5, and that one 10 plus 1 for free. But important, you cannot use one ticket for several people. So don't buy the 11 rides ticket, for instance, thinking you'll be able to split them among several people. it won't work. Okay, so let's go back to the stream. Up here, we have the 1-day ticket valid for 24 hours. And then that one is obviously the 5-day ticket. If you want the 3-day ticket, which also includes the round trip to the airport, it's not there. In that case, let's go back. You'll have to choose Athens and airport round up here, and then 3 days. Once you've selected the ticket you want to buy, you'll be able to order several of them by pressing the plus button here, and then you choose a payment method, either cash or bank card. Now, if you want to take the tram from Syntagma to the sea, you won't find any vending machines there. Those are only inside the metro station. So in that case, you'll have to go and buy your ticket at this small kiosk here. And just to give you an idea where it's located, the Parliament building is here, the tram station is here, and the kiosk is here. And if for whatever reason that kiosk is closed, just enter the metro station of Syntagma, which is right here, buy a ticket at the vending machine, and then come back up. It's the same ticket for metros, trams, and buses, so it doesn't matter where you buy it. All right, now that you know how to buy your ticket, let's see how you should validate it. It's very easy. You just have to position it like this, and then the gates will open. But I've seen many tourists struggling with one thing, so let me make it clear for everyone. You have to look at these green arrows here, which are indicating which gates you can use either to enter or to exit. I see tourists every day trying to validate their ticket over and over again at the wrong gate, and of course nothing happens because that's the gate to go in the opposite direction. And some of these people seem to think that their ticket is the problem and they go to buy another one. So yeah, remember to look at those green arrows. And regarding trams, you'll validate your ticket on one of these blue boxes here as you enter the tram. All right, what about timetables now? Well, I'm gonna leave you the link down below for the exact timetables, but on average there's one metro every 5 minutes, and they run from 6 a.m. till midnight. On Fridays and Saturdays, they even go until 2 a.m. Same for the 2 tram lines, except they're slightly less frequent. It's one every 10 or 15 minutes. One last tip regarding the metro: if you intend to use it to go to the airport, always make sure it's actually running on that day, because strikes do happen from time to time. Your hotel will definitely be aware of it when that happens, so always double check with them and don't just blindly trust the metros to operate. The 1st of May, for instance, Labor Day, is nearly guaranteed to have no public transport. But on top of that, there will be 2 or 3 other days throughout the year with a national strike or something. So definitely ask your hotel, because you don't want to miss your plane just because you trusted the Greek public transport a bit too much. All right, let's talk about taxis now. Taxis in Athens are very affordable if you compare them to the rates you will find on islands like Santorini. You can expect to pay 10 or 20 euros for an average ride in the city center, which I think is very decent. And taxi drivers know all the shortcuts to avoid traffic, so much more efficient than taking the bus. Now, where can you find taxis? Well, there's always a bunch waiting both on Monastiraki Square and Syntagma Square. Anywhere else, you can just flag them down. You'll rarely have to wait for more than 5 minutes, I would say. Or you can use apps. Uber is an option, but Free Now is the most common app in Greece. That's the one with most registered drivers, so that's the one I would recommend. And don't be surprised, the car that will show up will still be an actual taxi, because only licensed taxi drivers are allowed to be on those apps in Greece. All right, for more information on the amazing day trip to the islands of Agistri and Aegina, you can click here. Amazing stuff, beautiful water. And if you want to know how to get from the airport of Athens to your hotel, you can click on this one. And there you go, that's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you in the next one. Bye.